Today's topic is infective endocarditis. I am Dr. Abdul Basit, doing family medicine DNB final year. An introduction about the disease. Infective endocarditis is a serious infection of endocardium of the heart, particularly the heart valves, and is associated with high degree of morbidity and mortality. It generally occurs in patients with altered and abnormal heart architecture in combination with exposure to bacteria through trauma and other potentially high risk activities involving transient bacteremia. The risk factors: age greater than 60, 50% of the cases occur in greater than 60 years of age. And males, the ratio according to studies shows that male to female ratio is 3 is to 1 to 9 is to 1. Then injection drugs, which will lead to seeding of skin flora, oral flora, and contamination of contaminated drug materials to the bloodstream. Next risk factor is poor dentition or chronic dental infections. Comorbid conditions which predispose to infective endocarditis. Structural heart disease. 3/4 of the patient with infective endocarditis have structural heart disease. Then valvular disease, like in rheumatic heart disease, mitral valve prolapse with associated MR, then AR, AS. Then congenital heart disease, prosthetic heart valves. Pathophysiology. Uh, Here, at first, the endocardial injury occurs, and after an injury, we know that platelets and fibrin will come and deposit there, and which form the first initial sterile platelet fibrin needles. And on these needles, the secondary infection occurs from the blood microorganisms, and finally, it will lead to secondary accumulation of platelet and fibrin and further activation of coagulation system. Now, how this endocardial injury occurs? It is thought to be because of the lesions probably occur naturally in humans who are having congenital or acquired cardiac lesions that induce continuous endocardial trauma via regurgitant flow or high pressure jets of blood through stenotic lesions. And the vegetations they tend to develop where the blood travels from an area of high pressure to low pressure area through a narrow orifice. Example, in the setting of pre-existing valvular disease, vegetations are usually located on the atrial surface of the incompetent atrioventricular valves or the ventricular surface of incompetent semilunar valves. A mature vegetation is a collection of amorphous collection of fibrin platelets, leukocytes, RBC debris, and dense cluster of bacteria. Microbiology. Staphylococci, they are mostly associated with healthcare associated infective endocarditis. Streptococcus viridans is associated with community acquired infective endocarditis. The most commonly found organism is Staphylococcus aureus only. Other organisms in the descending order of infection: Streptococcus viridans, Enterococci, cons, coagulase negative Streptococci, Streptococcus bovis. Clinical feature: most fever is most commonly found about in 90% of the cases, and fever is consistently associated with chills and sweats. Other symptoms are anorexia, weight loss, malaise, and less common symptoms are myalgia, arthralgia. Signs that you see in infective endocarditis, as you know, there will be a heart murmur in about 85% of the cases. Splenomegaly is found in around 27%. Clubbing, peripheral manifestations are found less than 20%, and petechiae also found less than 25% of the cases. Peripheral manifestations include Osler's node, subungual hemorrhage, Janeway lesions, Roth spots. This is Osler's node. Then this is sphincter hemorrhage, and this is Janeway lesion, which is very small, actually in millimeter size. It can be papillar, nodular, papillar, macular, or nodular. Roth spots, then the petechiae. And these are not confirmatory to the disease because these are found in other normal individuals and associated with other diseases also. Diagnosis, modified Duke criteria. Overview of a diagnostic approach. Diagnosis of an infective endocarditis should be suspected in patient with bacteremia due to an organism with known propensity to cause endocarditis. Other important clues include a patient with fever, relevant cardiac risk factors like prior infective endocarditis, history of valvular or congenital heart disease, and other predisposing conditions like IV drug abuse, indwelling catheter intravenous lines, immunosuppression, or a recent dental or surgical procedure. Coming to modified Duke criteria, definitive infective endocarditis is established in presence of any of the following: pathologic criteria, pathologic lesions, vegetations or intracardiac abscess demonstrating active endocarditis on histology, or microorganism demonstrated by culture or histology of a vegetation or intracardiac abscess. Clinical criteria using specific definitions listed in table B that I will discuss later. So we have no major criteria and minor criteria. For diagnosis, two major criteria will suffice, or a major criteria plus three minor criteria, or five minor clinical criteria. And other definitions: possible infective endocarditis means presence of one major and one minor clinical criteria, or presence of three minor clinical criteria. Rejected infective endocarditis means a firm alternative diagnosis is made, or resolution of clinical manifestation occurs after less than or equal to 4 days of antibiotic therapy, or no pathologic evidence of infective endocarditis is found at surgery or autopsy after antibiotic therapy for 4 days or less. And the clinical criteria for possible or definite infective endocarditis is not met. In such cases, we rule out infective endocarditis. Then the clinical criteria, the major and minor criteria. First one, positive blood cultures for infective endocarditis. Any one of the following must be there. One is typical microorganism consistent with IE from two separate blood cultures. What are the typical organisms? Staphylococcus aureus, Streptococcus viridans, then Streptococcus galolyticus, HACER group, community acquired enterococci, or then persistently positive blood culture. For organisms that are typical causes of infective endocarditis, at least two blood cultures from blood samples drawn greater than 12 hours apart. For organisms that are more commonly skin contaminants, then three or majority of greater than or equal to four separate blood cultures, with first and last drawn at least 1 hour apart. And the third point is single positive blood culture for Coxiella burnetii or phase 1 IgG antibody titer greater than 1 is to 800 will also suffice. Then again major criteria continuing: evidence of endocardial involvement, any one of the following. One is echocardiogram positive for IE. Echocardiogram shows vegetations like oscillating intracardiac mass on a valve or a supporting structure in the path of regurgitant jets, or on implanted material in the absence of alternative anatomic explanation, or abscess, or new partial dehiscence of prosthetic valve, or a new valvular regurgitation. Now the minor criterias, predisposition, like intravenous drug use or presence of predisposing heart condition like prosthetic heart valve or a valve lesion associated with significant regurgitation or turbulence of blood flow, a fever of temperature greater than or equal to 38 degrees Celsius, vascular phenomena like major arterial emboli, septic pulmonary infarct, mycotic aneurysm, intracranial hemorrhage, conjunctival hemorrhage, or Janeway lesions. Immunologic phenomena, glomerulonephritis, Osler nodes, Roth spots or rheumatoid factor, microbiologic evidence, positive blood culture that do not meet major criteria, or serologic evidence of active infection with organism consistent with IE. Echocardiographic minor criteria eliminated. Now, coming to the treatment. Infective endocarditis management overview. First, we will do the diagnosis and institution of effective antimicrobial therapy. Then, management of any indicated antithrombotic therapy. Assessment of need for removal of any infected implanted devices or atrioventricular access. Identification of patients with indication for valve surgery. Follow-up and prevention of recurrent IE. Empiric antibiotic therapy. So, who we can start empiric antibiotic therapy? If the patient is hemodynamically unstable and presenting with acute endocarditis, like with fever, new murmur, particularly in setting of relevant cardiac risk factors or other predisposing conditions, then we will start empiric antibiotic therapy, empiric antibiotic after sending at least 3 blood cultures. So this antibiotic should cover staphylococci, MRSA and MSSA, streptococci and enterococci. So now the American Heart Association, they recommend vancomycin as an empiric antibiotic therapy. Other specific treatments. So native valve endocarditis due to staphylococcus, if it's methicillin sensitive, then the recommendation is nafcillin or oxacillin 2 gram IV Q4H for 6 weeks, or cefazolin 2 gram TDS for 6 weeks. And MRSA, we start vancomycin 15 mg per kg IV BD for 6 weeks. Other option is daptomycin greater than or equal to 8 mg per kg per 24 hours IV once daily for 6 weeks. If it's prosthetic valve endocarditis, then we have to continue the same medications for 6 to 8 weeks. Then native valve endocarditis due to penicillin susceptible virulent streptococci and Streptococcus gallolyticus. There are 2 regimens recommended: 4 weeks regimen and 2 week regimen. 4 week regimen, we give aqueous penicillin G 12 to 18 million units per 24 hours IV, either continuously or in 4 or 6 divided doses. Other options are ampicillin 2 gram IV every 4 hours, or ceftriaxone 2 gram per 24 hours, one dose. Sorry. Beta-lactam intolerant patients can be given vancomycin 30, that is the same, that is 15 mg per kg BD for 4 weeks. Then 2 weeks regimen, aqueous penicillin G 12 to 18 million units per 24 hours IV continuously or in 6 divided doses. Ceftriaxone 2 gram per 24 hours IV or IM, one dose, plus gentamicin 3 mg per kg per 24 hours IV or IM, one dose. or in divided doses. So in OPD basis treatment, you can give this ceftriaxone, gentamicin OD, and if they are admitted gentamicin, you can give 3 times a day. Complications of infective endocarditis, cardiac complications. Complications, cardiac complications can be heart failure, perivalvular abscess, pericarditis, intracardiac fistula, other complications like metastatic infection, septic embolization, metastatic abscess, mycotic aneurysm, neurologic complications like stroke, brain abscess, meningitis can occur. Then renal complications like renal infarction or abscess. Musculoskeletal complications are also reported: vertebral osteomyelitis and septic arthritis. Thank you.